Hello, welcome everybody to the stream. So we're gonna play a little bit more Pax Britannica today. We're playing as the Republic of France. Also, I did notice before we even get started that we do have new options here. Nationalistic fervor is at 33%, going down by 1. And we have 61% factionalism. So you want low factionalism and high nationalism. So you can worry about that in the future. But the Republic of France. France's history is deeply entangled with European history. The liberal constitutional reform following the crisis of 1798, birthing one of Europe's earliest true parliamentarian monarchies. The Bourbon dynasty once reigned from the shores of Iberia to the swamps of Venezia and beyond. It entered hubris thought to bring down the rising power of Germany. This fatal mistake would ultimately cost the Bourbons their crown and their empire. The Great War ended with the German eagle flying triumphant over Paris. The humiliating Treaty of Tours saw the French Empire dismantled, the monarchy formally ended, and a near total demilitarization. Naturally, the so-called 20-year armistice set France into a spiral of revanchist fervor in a decade since the end of the war. French politics has become dominated by two main political parties: Action Française and the French Popular Front. The former, led by Charles Maurras, is a restorationist pro-monarchy party, tentatively rendered illegal under the post-war constitution. Maurras' extreme nationalist and Catholic stance has garnered enough support to earn him influence in the National Assembly. The Popular Front, led by Jacques Drouot, is an ultra-nationalist authoritarian party seeking revenge against Germany and Britain for their part in the Great War. Forced into a coalition to keep power away from the moderate voices, Drouot and Maurras has begun to increasingly undermine one another in a cynical game for total control. With the left wing of the Popular Front under Ines Armand beginning to question Drouot's control, the political scene in France is likely to lead to a bloodshed. Regardless of who wins, it seems that anger in the French people will soon turn east to the moribund German Empire and beyond. Okay, we're emerging power. Look at us go. Disable. Okay, now we will. Yeah, disable the event audio for now. Utilization mod, Pensantino style script events, a pack system. Okay, do not break the mod. Do not break the mod. Excellent. So here we are. We're playing as France today. Led by Jacques Drouot. We're currently a despot. What option do we have here? Just an evening in Paris. This is +4 factionalism. We'll get a little event here, so we'll go with you. Research slots. We have 4 slots open. We'll go for our basics to begin with. We'll go electronics, industry. And what else do we want? I mean, we could get one of our augments. We could get the weird beast and the maybe like hard suits this time could be fun. Max. You know what? Let's go immediately for the Quadro pod. There we go. 86 days on you. Excellent. Currently we have 41 factories. We are 10, 4, and 27. So it's not really that good. We'll go for... Let's go like 2 civilian factories right now in Paris. Follow that up with some military factories. Let's go right here. Let's just get 3 of them as well. Excellent. Currently, we have 3 factories you can play around with. Equipment, support weapons, artillery, trains. Probably want to get trucks. Just have some of those kicking around. So 1 on you, 1 on you. Got 2 dockyards on that one. Do we make any planes right now? We do not, so we probably want... Let's go for 2 fighters for now. Also, you are missing rubber. Okay, we can resolve that. I mean, we're only missing 2. That's actually not so bad. Get that from the Latvian interim government. Seems okay. And how many divisions do we have? Right now, we're looking at 34. I mean, 34 is not terrible. Are they any good? 20 combat with 12. You guys are light infantry. Okay, so some of them are kind of ass, but that's okay. All right. Let's get these guys together. We do have the Italian Social Revolutionary Front over here. Can we send you volunteers? We can. I can send you actually 2 volunteers right away. I'm gonna send you 2 tank divisions. That should hopefully help you out in your war against Italy, because I would like to have an alliance if we can. I'm gonna play this as if everything's going to go the same way as it did in our Germany campaign, where it's going to be Germany, Britain, and Italy against me, Spain, and Russia. So if we can get one of those powers on side, namely Italy in this case, I would be very happy to see it. I'm going to send you the 2 tanks. Congratulations, you can have those. 2311, 4222, we'll go with you. Do we have a Panzer leader for these tanks? Answer. We do not, okay. War hero. Media oh no, you're Panzer leader right here. Armor officer, okay. We'll put you in charge in this front. Charles de Gaulle can be in charge of Purple Army. You can be in charge of this army. I'm going to assign you to the border of Wallonia. And you, for right now, are just going to be around the demilitarized zone around Germany. Just for the time being. Okay, inter-service rivalry between... Well, right now it's balanced. It's between the military and the security... Between, like, the security forces. Okay. The road to employment... I mean, 7%'s not that bad. Less than... You want me to employ every single person in the country? Okay. The party doctrine, lower factions, increased national fervor. What are we getting right now? 0.85. That's not bad. Managing the military. Right now, we're not modernized at all. Okay, so... You're the same as with Germany, and the rest of you are slightly different. And it's going to cost us a lot of political power. That's what I'm looking at. Using a French VPN to watch this. The night before in Paris. Dragged out in the middle of the night wearing only his underpants and a robe, the victim smelt of a grossly mix of sweat and piss. It was rather embarrassing circumstances to be in. The SP officer and his goons began to laugh hysterically. Somewhere in Paris on a quiet... It's just quiet, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say quiet. Suburban street stood 4 men in uniform, staring at the hopeless figure of a human on the ground, begging like a dog for mercy. The men simply continued their rampage of laughter until the SP officer finally brought himself under control. The soldiers quickly shut themselves up, and at that moment in time, the only sound that could be heard was the sobbing of the victim and the occasional barking of a street mutt. Please, 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 I beg you. I gave everything to the party, cried the victim, but the perpetrator showed no remorse. The victim's minds raced with thoughts, and the stench of fear began to become unbearable to the officer. His hand crawled down his right leg and came to a complete stop, resting itself on the belt of a holster. The victim crying only escalated as a revolt, and in the process to shut the man up, a soldier knocked him over the head with the butt of his rifle. The crying finally stopped, and only a few snobs and sniffles remained. The officer drawed his pistol to the forehead of the victim. Silence, complete silence, then silence? Complete silence then followed. The street of Paris heard a thud at night, and 1,000 thuds were soon to follow. Excellent. So what we're going to be doing, I didn't actually say which path we're going to be going for. We are going to be going for the Grand Marshal stands alone, which I think is the same path that France took last time. So we just need Droit's coup d'etat to occur, and Jacques Droit needs to remain in power. Anti-Semitic riots. Recent reports from police commissariats in urban departments around the nation, along with reports from the countryside of Germandre, paints a horrifying picture. From Paris to Toulon, citizens have been rioting over perceived injustices against the French people brought upon them by the so-called Jewish devils. Though our government has often used anti-Semitic rhetoric in the past to drum up popular support, these scenes of savage ethnic violence are certainly not what we had imagined. With pogroms and riots causing fires and mass deaths and injury in Jewish quarters and villages all around France, the recent investigation by our internal security forces have found the culprit seems to be our new appointments to leadership of the Commissar General for Jewish Affairs. Though much of our government had little love for the Jews, there has been objection to the Sentence Act of violence sponsored by the apparatus for our own government. Sadly, there isn't much we could do. Replacing the leadership of the Commissar General now might turn our own people against us. All we can do is sit in horror and hope that this ends sooner than later. Losing political power, 50-man power, and a little bit of infrastructure damage. Evening in Paris, follow you up. Can't do you yet. There's a little tungsten and a little rare materials. Tungsten is just for the heavy ship. We don't care about that too much. No, the tungsten's for the artillery. The special materials are for the ship, which I don't care about too much. Whispers in the Hall of Paris. Since the ascension of the Triumvirate, there's been a significant political tension between the various factions. Over the last few weeks, concerns have been raised among the monarchist and left nationalist factions of the government that Detroit's ultra-nationalists may be plotting a coup. Though these are only rumors at the moment, there is a legitimate threat to the SP under pro-ultra-nationalist Durand, and it may attempt to leverage their considerable authority to back Detroit's plan. Okay, so we want to save, because I want to make sure we can get to... I think we need to get Detroit in charge. Yes. Yeah, it's probably nothing to worry about. We get more factionalism, a little less political power. We're already at -50, but if you remember from our Germany campaign, we're used to having no political power whatsoever. The Italian Civil War. Each cold breath the minister gave between words only emphasized the unfortunate reality of the war. It was as if each breath was a desperate plea for assistance, directed to the garrison head near Upper Savoy borders for help of any kind. Disciples of the ISRF would hang the crimes against the state if they were to lose the war, and both the garrison head and minister knew this. Though one was clearly on the short end of the stick, he didn't beg twice. His eyes did all the talking, and the message was very clear. The garrison head leant back in his vacant chair and pondered for a moment. Send him 500 guns. How many guns do we have? 104? Yeah, send them some rifles. We're already sending them tanks, so they should be happy with that. Reports of SP mobilization. Whether the claims are true or not, the fact that the city streets lie empty is telling of something. Individuals have gone missing at an absurd rate, and concerns are mounting regarding the SP. Durand hasn't been seen for the past 3 days, and his whereabouts are unknown. If foul play is at hand, then Maras and Amran would best be worried, given their precarious position in the event of a hypothetical coup. Despite their internal panic, local authorities have maintained a neutral attitude on the topic, promising no loyalty to either of the 3 candidates. Whether such promises are valid is unknown, and some have even begun to suspect that the constabulary is under Durand's arm. Issue a minor protest, a little bit more factionalism. How bad is that getting right now? 73%, I'm assuming that's high? Less party popularity, less stability, less political power, and low nationalistic fervor right now is honestly not that bad. It's not that bad while we're not at war. And we have... yes, like examine Great War tactics. I'm assuming we are on... I don't actually remember where you see it. I'm assuming we're on... like, really development. Yes, I think we're at the very, very bottom of military reforms. Okay, here's our 2 tanks. Let us place you... let's say in these 2 provinces. Droid sends out the list. Despite their lack of discipline, the SP proved to be a brutally effective mob. Their tactics were undoubtedly questionable, but in times of great strife and rules of war have changed. And the definition of sane in an insane world is quite an ironic remark. Men tormented both physically and mentally resorted to the state-funded police force. Here, they could avenge all the years of pain with little jurisdiction. Their mere presence birthed fearful stares in the least humane ways possible. After all, everyone knew their purpose. They simply wondered who. Who would be their next victim? Would it be a Jew, a drunk, or a young woman? They were beasts of no nation, with no grand moral leaders, no fathers or mothers, no job opportunities. They were the perfect killing machines, and kill they did. When Droid handed Durand the list of henchmen, salivated at the untold stories they were about to write. The rapes and murders of thousands that were about to take place, and not even God knew how to handle the situation. Yet, he still showed pity like all the rest. Hello, Keefabus. How are you? Okay, the orders are delivered as expected. We do have some decent tanks here. I mean, how strong is this guy? Multiple combats. Yeah, let's send 2 tanks to dinner to see if we can get that to work out. Duck Confit with a dash of violence. As night falls over Paris, members of the Charles Maras Action Francais party assemble for their annual party meeting in a Paris dining hall. Though there have been fears of potential violence at the head of the pro-Detroit militias, little has seemingly happened over the past weeks to change Maras's plans. The focus this evening meeting is the prospect of aligning with the armorers faction of the FPF to unseat Durand. Though Armand holds little love for their former monarchy, Maras has promised reforms and concessions to the left nationalists in exchange for their support. A final concern before meeting begins is the issue of security. Given the incessant mood of paranoia that has fallen over Paris, it seems only natural to provide some degree of security to the attendees. Alternatively, as a means of strength of the alliance with the left nationals, they could be armed to provide security for the event. Yes, let's rely on local authorities. Give me 25 political power. And yes, we assault the meeting. The Triumvirate has met in a place of Versailles to primarily discuss the balance of power. Tensions were high, but Armand and Maras were confident that Roy's power was weakening by the second. Even if the SP had circled the table, there were rumors of Girat's disappearances and inter-service rivalry. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to host the first of many meetings between us. The future of France lays in our hands, and dare I say, the future of Europe. Either side looked at each other with a confirming eye, but Girat's true intentions were yet to be revealed. After a long and detailed speech, Girat rose his wine glass in celebration. A toast to the future of France, he pronounced. But by the time Maras and Rand had reached for their glass, Durand had breached a door to the dining room with a handful of SP goons. Droid stands still, drinking wine, whilst watching his two political hurdles get shuffled away into the back alley, where they'd meet their eventual death after a bloody beating. Vive la Marshal! 150 political power, negative 6% factionalism. We're now the national state of France. We're an ultra-nationalist dictatorship. We're also... Oh, we actually get 5% stability out of this. Change the popularity by 10%. Okay. And we actually have 104 political power. You love to see it. What do we have here? We have remilitarize Lorraine. We need 500,000 manpower on you. Befriend Russia. Befriend Spain. I mean, I would be happy with all of that. Reform the military. French economy. There's a lot of stuff in here we want to end up doing. You know what? Let's get reform the military first, because this will actually just, I think, passively increase our modernization. Let's go. Let's go that first. Is this the same? Is this wait? I think this is the same event. Okay, nice new emotes. Thank you very much. A lot of the old ones were bad. Reshuffling the SP leadership. With the future safely secured, the question of leadership of the SP has come up. The Rhine has served a vital role in its bid for power, and even a more vital one, as the Triumvirate's rise to power. However, history is all too full of influential individuals taking power. It might be wise to dispose of this threat while it still hangs low. We're gonna lose. You know what? If you still have 46 political power, let's spend it on something. -6. You increase it by 4. Invest in infrastructure. You know what? Give me a military factory. And then we will kill the current SP leader and replace him. There we go. We're now -43 political power, but that's okay. Again, I'm so used to having no political power anyways. It's good. It's good. Also, do I have a spy agency? I do. We actually have an operative we can recruit as well. Let's go. You know, you're British. Let's send you up to London. See what kind of information you can gather from the British. I'm not too sure what their grand plans are. Probably to oppose us, so I would have to take a guess and say. Workers protest. Some workers in the city of Bordeaux are protesting against the lack of proper safety regulations within the workplace. They cite continued neglect from superiors as the source of the problem, and are demanding that the French Popular Front do something about it. Some informants have notified local SP authorities that some workers used to belong to anti-Triumvirate political parties, and that such evidence provides enough justification for a crackdown. You know what? Yeah, stability be damned. Crack down on the pigs. Okay, inform the military. And again, I think that will passively increase this bonus here. Go with you next. Hello, AFG. Or Solus, I don't know what you prefer to be called. Okay, next up. Effective change, stability minus 10%. So you can ban public meetings and we can get a secret police force. Stability, war support. or the new French man? You know, let's go for the cult of personality. We'll go with you next. Call me either one. Excellent. And hello, Popsicle. How are you? Defunct liberalism. The process of political eradication is no easy feat. Though victory can and has been achieved, many far left and liberal-based ideologies are becoming extinct, products of a bygone era. Popularity for the FPF is rising, and even the conservatives are flocking to the so-called neo-imperialist ideology. The need for forceful conversion still remains fairly limited, boosting our approval and recognition as the true sons of France. Not even the Anglos or Germans enjoy such political popularity, and they call themselves staple democracies. How laughable. And the Commissar General for Jewish Affairs. Since our glorious national revolution first began, the SP have stood the sword and shield of the French people, putting fear into our enemies, both domestic and abroad. Propaganda on their iron ranks brings hundreds of recruits on the daily, and the SP man have become synonymous with what it means to be truly French. One who is ready to fight and die to protect our God-given land and our beautiful race and culture. Unfortunately, the real state of the SP is perhaps a bit less glamorous than what our propaganda ministry would have them painted as. Though the elite units of the FP can send even some of the more hardened warriors to the Habsburg Dogs or the Prolicious Albion running, the majority seem to act like barbarians, committing petty crimes against their own citizens, especially those that practice the Jewish religion. Though our government has previously instituted certain laws intended to reduce the prevalence of the pervasive influence of the Jews, who being considered inherently untrustworthy and anti-French, these criminal acts reflect poorly upon our great nation. A compromise will need to be made with our brave boys of the SP. Perhaps by offering their leader the chair of a newly created Commissar General for Jewish Affairs, we can make sure that the Jewish question is resolved in a civilized and peaceful manner. We trust that discipline and order will be restored to the SP regiments in short order. Okay, we do have